Welcome back. I'm playing Darfall and we're working on our survival campaign on the Chaosborn difficulty. Today we should finish the Mistfen, I think is what this map was called. So we're continuing to creep, we're stockpiling our resources finally. Our paladin is having a pretty decent build, I think. I'm kind of liking with where he's at right now. I suspect at the end it's going to be a kind of overwhelming unless his healing is really good, because one thing I noticed is compared to, say, the Slayer, who has that AoE stun, that as the guys get more and more higher level, not stunning those more powerful units on the Chaosborn difficulty can become a major detriment. And I can definitely feel the difference in the effectiveness of the heroes late game when you start having to fight units that have, you know, tens of thousands of HP when you're only doing, you know, 50 to 100 damage to those units. Alright, I think we just got to get this outpost going. We'll run these guys back to the city, and then the hero will catch up as he continues to pick up the last of the items that were just kind of hanging around here. Alright, we'll get our repairs going. And it seems like the ballista actually have a little more range than the towers do. So we'll see if maybe we can make some of those if we get more wood. Yeah, see, these guys are having pathing issues. I think they're going to run into a... Yep, okay. That's what I thought. It's kind of weird that some of the units were able to get there, but these guys weren't when they were all pretty much in the same spot. Yeah, see, those guys are having a pathing issue too. I don't know why some of them don't appreciate the situation. Alright, we'll clear out these... fences here, because I don't know if it's affecting the efficiency. Of our resource gathering or not. Alright, I'm a little worried we're going to be putzing around here too much, because we still have lots of guys that haven't gotten back to our base and the undead are already rising, so this is usually an incredibly stupid thing to do this late. But because they're coming in at weird angles and we seem to have them figured out into certain choke points, I think we're going to be able to make it work and not be penalized too bad.
I must.
Alright, let's see if I can get you up here, because you should have at least 4 of those books up here to pick up, and that is enough to probably get some skills. Yep, so now your HP's maxed, and we'll get you some more damage. So yeah, you're doing 105 damage per hit now.
At once.
Which seems kind of crazy because those executioners, or whatever they're called, they do almost 1,000 damage a hit, so that's the difference. So I'd say that's the one problem with the Chaosborn difficulty, is the balancing isn't great. I suspect they just kind of rushed it out, because I think when the game was released, people were giving them feedback like, hey, this is too easy. And so it's, you know... the default answer is, well, we'll just make guys into bullet sponges and increase the amount of damage, and that'll make it harder. And it's like, in some ways it does, but at the same time, just sitting there watching the same battle animations with a few different units happen just doesn't seem to be great. And well, maybe innovative would be a better term. Yeah, maybe lazy at best, but I don't, you know, I can't criticize, you know, because that doesn't seem fair. They, you know, went out of their way to try to make the community happy, so I think that should always be taken as an act of good faith.
Yes, my lord.
I don't know much about the makers to this game.
I must.
Maybe what I'll do after I finish Mistfens, maybe I'll have an episode where, because it says on the menu that like give feedback and report bugs. Maybe what I'll do is just make a video with what my feedback was and just submit it on there and explain my reasoning, because some people have been asking me my thoughts on this game, and because I guess this is rather a controversial game, I'm actually a little surprised that people on the channel don't have a little more interest in this. I would have thought more people would, just given what we typically play, but I'm not sure if it's kind of the graphics here are turning people off, since it's kind of a blast from the past in terms of I think everybody kind of sees the significant inspiration that Warcraft 3 gave this Warcraft 3 had on the developers, because that's immediately what everybody thinks of, including myself, when you play this game.
At once.
But do you guys think that it's just too repetitive? Because I can definitely start to feel that a little bit as I'm playing through these different missions. It does feel like it starts to get a little bit repetitive, and that's why I'm not super excited to do the endless challenges. I mean, eventually that will create some new pathways, because as the days go by, the raids get more intense, the onslaughts get more intense. So I'll be curious to see like how bad it gets, but at the same time it's like, is it really worth doing that or not? Maybe what I'll do is I'll complete all the pathways, hold off on the endless runs, and then see if they have a major update that happens. And if there's a major update, maybe then I'll do an endless run on those last 4 missions. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that. Because I've just been reluctant to give my thoughts in full. I think if you've been watching my videos, you kind of hear me thinking about it as I'm playing the game, and you kind of get some of my commentary and thoughts as I'm going through the challenge here. But one thing that, especially on YouTube, that I find a lot of people do is everybody's in a rush, because the first people out to create little videos are the ones that get the most views, but then I feel like sometimes they judge games a little prematurely, and unfortunately in this day and age where so many games are released broken, sometimes even after they get that's not actually a bad boot. They get repaired and like the game plays totally different, but then people have already kind of discounted the situation. Now, I can't fault people for doing that. I feel like that falls on the game creators and developers and the publishers for releasing broken products, and nobody should be forced to buy a broken product with aspirations and hope that the developers are going to fix it post-release, because I think that's some bullshit. But that does appear to be what happens on a lot of these games.
I must. We advance.
Alright, we got another little orc camp here. So again, because we're so strong, late game we can just rush and kill all of his henchmen and then just focus on the war boss and tank everything because of how much healing potential we have between the paladin and our mages here. I forgot to actually upgrade that guy to the gunman. Alright, so we're on day 10, last day. Yeah, there's nothing really left around our base. Let's just set that there, I guess. Alright, we got orc raid and a pylon.
I must.
Oh, looks like the orc raiders finally came from a different direction and took out our outpost already. It's like I saw a oh, I should have used that a long time ago. I didn't realize I had a saw. because that increases the speed of our production there. Let's turn that off. We're actually still shockingly low on charcoal. But I guess we have been just blowing through resources like crazy.
For Sunscale Legion!
Alright, that looks like a upgrade.
At once. We advance.
Is this a blind end? Yep, looks like it is.
I march.
Yep, can't get through.
At once. We advance.
Well,
Attack!
let's come down and take out the dark ritual site, I guess.
Solara guns.
That's not actually a terrible item.
I march.
Alright, so it looks like we're clearing out another area here. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, we'll set that up. We're almost clearing this out.
At once. We advance.
Alright, we know the orc raiders are over there. You can see that they staked their claim. Honestly, we could probably just destroy this stuff here. We're about to abandon that location. Maybe I should have pushed to the northwest. But I feel like we can come here and maybe we can set up some silver. We've cleared this area out, so we'll reinforce this stuff here. And get rid of that. Build this out a little bit. Because we know... Oh my god, I didn't think of this. What if the chaos demons come from the northeast and I can't get to them? Because it won't end the mission unless I kill everybody.
Forward.
But if I can't get over there, could that
Solara guns.
make it so I can't finish the campaign?
At once.
No, that wouldn't
Forward.
happen, right? Because
We advance.
even if they came from the northeast, I could just keep building towers. And I'd eventually be able to kill them by attrition.
Solara guns.
But that would definitely make the day 10 challenge be longer than 10 days, because we'd effectively have to kill all the undead and then start fortifying the way and just setting up ranged units.
At once.
Oh, that would be so stupid. I don't think that's going to happen, but I didn't think of that until now.
I march.
Oh, I'm going to be so pissed
By the light. Charge.
if I spent all this time on this mission and then I get into a situation where I can't win due to a bug. Oh yeah, okay, so the orc raiders are coming from that direction now because they killed my outpost on the other side. That makes sense. If I would have been smart and min-maxing, I would have destroyed those walls and I could have got refunded some of those stone bricks. I guess what we want to do here is just, because we're still running low on wood, is set up another lumber camp here.
Forward. At once.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at the amount of trees these guys cut through, and then I just feel like I'm just in perpetuity short. But I guess I am making so many lumber camps here. It's like, how much resources do you want to invest into these guys?
Forward. Be purged by light. They will know panic.
Alright, let's get that. That was probably a mistake since we're not actually mining iron, but let's get you over here. Kill those orcs, I guess. Maybe I can get back some of that stone. Ooh.
Forward.
Purple helmet. I missed that somehow. Alright, let's get that. Increase your damage. I guess we'll increase your attack speed, so there's no guarantee you're gonna be able to level up again. Alright, let's get rid of these things. Alright, they're down.
Solara guides.
Let's run you back to the base. Yeah. Alright, let's start getting you guys all over here. Alright, we'll get the tools. That way we can... Actually, yeah, we do want those, don't we? Because if I'm making tools, I need the iron bars. Yeah, see, now we're out of... Yeah, we're running out of all of our resources now. But we're up to 182 coal, so that should be enough to get us through the night.
At once.
That's an energy helm. That's probably not worth it. Yeah, there's just one skill book there. Alright, let's see what we did here. Hopefully we get all of our guys safe before the demons come. Because they're going to just randomly be running around here. We don't know which direction they're going to come from. Alright, we probably want to reinforce the walls here a little bit. I think it's pretty safe to assume they're going to come from this direction unless something stupid happens. Hopefully we can get more planks. Oh my gosh, we're just running out of wood like crazy. Yeah, see, this one's almost done. Alright, yep. And then we also have to save enough wood so we can do the repairs. Alright, we'll keep that still up because we still do have some silver there.
I must. Solara guides.
Alright, drop off that wood because that 80 is a pretty big... That's the difference between us being able to repair and not repair. Yeah, we're kind of running out of resources here. There's not a ton left. You can't really see what's going on, but you can just drag your resource thing around here and get an idea of what's under the black here. Could build an outpost over here. Oh, the surface is too uneven. If I do that, Yeah, but if it's not even enough. Oh my gosh. Alright, there's got to be something here. Okay, looks like there's several places to build down here. Maybe we just set this up here, where we just cleared those guys out. We saw there was an okay amount of wood down there, and there's also some more silver. In case, God forbid, I do actually need to replace our units as we're suffering losses.
Solara guides. I must. At once. We advance.
Alright. Let's take a look. Yeah, so this is what I was worried about. We're clearing out all these trees in the middle of the night. These guys are going to be running around. I don't want them running around while the undead and the demons are summoned, because that's how you can lose your score, is all of a sudden they just start auto-running. And if they run into some demons or something very dangerous, and they're just dead.
We advance. Forward.
Alright, let's do some more killing here.
Solara guides.
Oh, why'd I do that? It was actually probably an upgrade. I forgot I have such a shit weapon. It's crazy, I've been creeping all around this map and I don't have a good melee weapon yet. Alright, so only one guy looks like they don't have a job yet.
Forward. I must.
Alright, demons. Coming from the south. Alright. Let's see what's going on here. We're just fighting. Demons are already almost here. It's amazing how fast they close that distance. Oh my gosh. And of course they don't have any mass, so they can just swarm on themselves. Alright. What am I going to do here? I can try to fight them in the gatehouse, but I think that's just a bad time. But if we do that, then we're going to have them all get hit by those towers, which does significant damage. We're obviously taking pretty significant damage ourselves in return, because they're always focusing on the same guys over and over again. Alright, we lost one trooper so far. Keep spamming your abilities. Actually, we seem like we're doing a pretty good job here. We're down to 4 guys. Let's get another paladin. We'll pull you back so that way we make sure that all those towers are still attacking. I'll let you come back and heal. Try to preserve your score, because we should have a little bit of time to be okay. We can try to kill this Dark Apostle, I guess. Alright, good. He's down. Try to kill some of these undead. Down to 3 demons. Yeah, they're almost dead again.
advance.
Alright, this is actually going hella good with all those towers giving us areas to focus fire. Unfortunately, the pathing here is going stupid, so we can't actually surround and kill this demon here. Unfortunately, the towers are actually making it a little bit harder because they're moving them around.
We advance.
Stop trying to go a direction you can't attack. Pathing, again, so stupid. Alright, we got this. I think we only lost one guy. Success.
We won. So long as light prevails.
Yeah, we lost one warrior, no workers, survived 10 nights, destroyed 66 structures, and killed 1,286 enemies. So we've got a score of 15,538. So not too bad with the Chaosborn boon. I do think this build works out pretty well for the paladin. You know, it allows him to have a defensive aura. That with that shield, I guess not really an aura, it's a defensive shield to soak up some damage, and if it does get killed, then it gives you an AoE attack. You have the ability to heal units around you with his little light ball ability that's above him, where it just shoots out some healing, giving him some healing for the damage he does, because by late game he should be doing somewhere between 100 and maybe 150 damage per hit, which means that percentage based healing is not bad. And then you also have that ability where he links up with another unit, and that can make him very, very powerful, especially if you put it on a tank and you can get the other enemy to solo him, because that will allow them to tank those hits quite a bit, and then you can be healing each other with that ability, and then your mages can be healing as well, and then you're also healing through that passive aura that he has during the day. So that allows you to just keep tanking in a very powerful way, especially because he doesn't have any ability to stun. That's the one downside of him. But I felt like it was very easy to creep with him once we had things started. I think the marsh is probably one of the maps I actually struggle with the most. You know, the desert I can usually overcome with just making some of those granary fields, just going mass charcoal spam to get that going. The frozen tundra you can usually overwhelm by just focusing on fishing. That seems to, and just ignoring the food production altogether, with just getting some mild wheat fields going, and then even at the diminished rate, long term in the game, you'll have built enough up that you can make like a bakery or something. But otherwise, you usually don't need to do much. Whereas the marsh, it just seems like you're having to continually expand for the wood, and then you have to spend wood as the cost of expansion. So it just kind of, I feel like I never totally get an economy that's just popping off. Now, I do think I was probably pretty inefficient with my lumber camps, and that was probably compounding my issues. And then with how poorly this map was generated with pathing, it really limited what areas I could make additional outposts on, which was definitely hurting me. It definitely felt weird to make outposts to focus purely on getting wood, but that's definitely something you have to do on these harder difficulties, longer day challenge runs. So definitely was an interesting situation here. So with that, we have another situation down. So I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.